What's going on, guys? I'm Jim O'Neill. This is the one and only Larry Ladowski here, and we are at ICast 2023 in Orlando, Florida. And what we're doing right here is right like that sign says. We're at the New Product Showcase. So pretty much what's going on here is all different categories of fishing items, anywhere from rods, reels, baits, any type of lure, even in fact small things like specialized screws and grips, shoes, shirts, everything. You guys get it.
Everything from clothing to tackle management to rods and reels. Everything imaginable in the fishing industry is right here in this room that is new. And that is the cool part that we get to see before you do. But we're going to show it to you now as much as you want to see. And we get to vote on the new stuff as well. So right there, this is a voter of the new 2023 new products at the ICast 2023.
And you know, it is really cool, Larry, because every year at this show, something comes out that changes the fishing industry. So let's go take a peek.
Make sure you speak loud.
Yes, sir.
So guys, where we're going to start right now is we're going to start at the Freshwater soft lures. Again, you're going to see some baits that you're used to seeing, some worms, some craws, some beavers, but you're also going to see some things you've never seen before. I promise you that.
Now wait, now Jim's here. The freshwater lures go all the way to here. All lures.
Dennis, how are you? Can do. I haven't seen you in a while right now.
So guys, we're going to pan over here and we're going to let you just take little peeks. So we got some Ned baits, we got some creature baits, we got the Rapala Crush City Bronco Bug. I know everyone's been intrigued about that one. For our Illinois boys back at home, we got Biz Baits, a local company that's now made it to the national scene. Here we have more of our worms. You guys see some finesse worms, some ribbon tail worms, some Senko style worms. I like this one. We can stop here for a second because here we do get a little funky, okay? I don't know about you guys, but I've never seen anything quite like that. What about you, Larry?
I haven't seen anything swimming like that, I hope.
No, I ate some calamari that looked a little bit like that, but that's about all I got for you.
Now here's something cool. For Midwest fishermen, the tendency for lures is to go micro. Rather outdoors, that is going to catch some crappie and some bluegill. So will this. Very petite, small presentation for fish that you want to catch.
Now, Larry, a lot of people don't know who is Rather Outdoors.
Rather Outdoors is a company. It's a conglomerate. It's kind of like Pure Fishing with Berkeley and Abu Garcia and Fenwick. They're under one umbrella. Rather Outdoors has Luz, Mr. Crappie, Strike King, you name it, they have it. It's a tendency to go with rods, reels, and baits now in the industry.
So who's under that umbrella? Who's got the that micro?
So this is the Mr. Crappie, Maxi Waxy. It's got little rubber arms, really fluctuate underneath the water. That's gonna be a bait getter.
Not only open water, but ice fishing too. I will definitely use that ice fishing this year. Definitely some interesting things also in here. We got soft plastic that's fused with rabbit hair, or maybe fox hair on that one. But rabbit baits, they use animal fur with their soft plastics. Really, really cool. We got some alligators. I don't know about using that up in Illinois, but I'm sure I could find a hungry pike or bass that would eat that.
But here's one that we use up in the Midwest.
Oh,
it's
yes.
the goby.
Oh, yes, the goby.
This is the Z-Man new goby lure. That is, it looks like a real goby.
It really does, and especially not only in the Chicagoland area, but anywhere that touches intercoastal water up north, like the St. Lawrence.
Really, any of the Great Lakes.
Any of the Great Lakes and any connecting water, those smallmouth, and here's a secret, brown trout too, love eating gobies. Now the Nessie, have you seen this one by Berkeley? A soft plastic swim bait. Not only a swim bait, but a glide bait. That is something that I feel like has been missing in the industry. You know, glide baits, it's such a craze right now, and they're so expensive, $100 to $300 for a normal for a normal glide bait. And you know, you're scared to throw a glide bait under a dock or next to a boat or by trees that costs $200. But at $12.99, you better believe I can chuck that thing just about anywhere.
And this is pretty cool too. It has a little keeper on it. See that little keeper? That's what holds the treble hook right to the bait.
And those balancing platforms, it looks like on the bottom, is going to keep that bait kind of swimming true at all times.
I'm taking this to Canada with me.
Yeah, I would. All right, pick your poison. These are the megas in the freshwater lure world, okay? So here we got the Bessie. Now this actually came out in our neck of the woods at the Schaumburg Fishing Show. This is a bait by Daiwa. It's kind of a top water walk the dog bait, or is it? It's also a prop bait. It's also kind of like a spinner bait, or I don't even know what you'd call that. But it is a complex lure, and again, it's different. There's not things on the market like it. Speaking of things that aren't like it, how about that? Not only such a unique design and build to this bait, but that soft plastic tail gives that hard bait a nice action. And lastly, look at this. That's not something you see often. You have 4 different places where you can join your line to and make that bait swim slightly different on each one.
Larry, what kind of application would you see for something like that?
That would be muskie, pike, anything big, lake trout, you name it. And that's something big is going to attack that. You throw that in the water, and you better expect big baits. But at ICast 2023, it seems like it's the year of the spinner baits and the top water spinners. Yeah. You can see this is the hard water lures here, and there are a lot of spinner baits as well as top waters. Here's the new Z-Man, the Z-Man chatterbait. What they did was they put a little texture on it here. Ooh. New sharp hooks. Really nice looking.
Fish love a hammered finish.
Yep.
And since we were talking about top waters, we're going to grab this buzz bait real quick. Now this is out of Fish Tech. This was actually the first lure I got to see here at ICast this year. Now the interesting thing about this, besides the soft plastic that's on it, is actually the blades. So if you look at it, this is not a quadruple or a triple blade. It's actually 2 different doubles. And those blades are going to clack and hit each other. So not only is it making the rotation noise, the bubble noise when it's throwing air, but also that metal on metal hitting. So I like this application on a buzzbait a lot.
Now here's the other part that's cool. Not only do you have the lures, you also have the rest of ICast right here. Everything from tackle management to clothing to rods to reels to electronics, you name it, it's here. Let's go check some of the rods.
Okay. Before we get to the rods, since we're going to be on there, our way there, Larry, I was telling you about a particular pontoon fishing storage system that I thought was extremely innovative. So that is this cabinet thing right here.
You want a piece of furniture for your pontoon boat? It's right here. Look at that. You have a tape roll right here on top. You've got storage. You've got your tackle trays. You've got storage for anything and everything from the boat.
This flips up right here.
You have rod holders on both sides of it. And what I really like about this, as a bass guy who's been on many pontoons, in bass fishing and in walleye fishing, your DPs and your bass boats, these days companies have so much storage in these boats. You can fit just about all your tackle. But when you think about a pontoon, you're really limited, you know? There's no hole in the boat. It's just flat, so there's really no compartments usually. So I believe a lot of people, especially individuals that own lake houses and such, will get such a use out of this, especially my fishermen.
And the last thing, you can fillet your fish right on here.
It's pretty cool, ain't it?
Very cool.
$150 bucket, we love that.
Check out the rods.
Let's go check out the rods.
Really? This is the coolest part about being at ICast, is that you get to You gotta just pick up a rod and you can go, wow, that's nice. This happens to be Genko fishing.
And what I grabbed over here is, I didn't even know this was coming out till I showed up at this. Z-Man came out with their own rod for the Ned rig. Now, it kind of depends what kind of Ned rig fishing you guys are doing. This is definitely more on the finesse side, as you can see. It has a lot of play to it, this rod. But really, really nice rod. Super lightweight. It really does, for the price point, it really does remind me of a luxury rod at a cheaper price.
The cool thing about this rod, too, is really the balance of the reel. Whatever reel you want to put on, it's just like an ice fishing rod.
Yeah, and
You tape the reel right to the rod.
people aren't used to that. I think they're freaking out. They're looking at this and they say, "Where do you mount your reel?" But that's what you do, guys. You literally tape it to your feel and how you like it. Yeah, we'll move on.
Take that out.
You take them over there while I fix my mess.
I want to show you one thing that these guys are hoping.
Is this the St. Croix Mojo?
This is the St. Croix Park Falls
All right, so Larry,
Mojo Bass.
you
right
didn't
here.
you didn't catch the info about this one, but I did earlier. So one thing that they did with the Mojo is they've redesigned the grip, right? So if you look at it, that is not a circle, right? So they were considering the comfort of the rod in your hand, and so they made it more ergonomic. The Mojo Bass Rod's been phenomenal for years, but now it's going to be even more comfortable for more fishability for the throughout the day.
And that leads us right into this one right here, the Pure Fishing Freshwater Rod, the Fenwick World Class. What they did is they took the reel seat and they designed it off of
The last two fingers.
the last two fingers of your palm. Here, in other words, these two fingers, the finger and the thumb, these are your most non-sensitive fingers because you use them the most. The most sensitive ones are right here and here, and then this part of your palm is the most sensitive as well. They went to a medical company that does tools, and they went and they said, how do we design a reel seat that would accept those pliers
Sensations.
or something like that in your hands and be most sensitive. And what they did was they just fixed it so you can pretty much put those two fingers on your rod butt, and that is where you're going to feel the most sensitivity in the rod. It's amazing the way these companies go and they design these products years in advance of them actually coming out. I think this was in the makes for about 4 years.
Now-
I'm not sure what the St. Croix
Now
was,
you
but it's
got
very
a
similar.
chance to fish with this one a couple weeks ago in Lake Oneida, right?
Yes, we went out to Lake Oneida. It was the first time anyone has been able to fish with these rods, and I tell you, they're lightweight, they feel great, and the whole series, whether you have your kids and you want to start them off as with a younger or a less expensive rod, all the way up to their world class, which is their top end, which is about $300 and so dollars. But if you don't want to spend those $300, the same action is going to be available in the less expensive series, but you're still going to have the sensitivity.
Yeah, guys, last second before we move on to combos behind me is we were just talking about, again, innovation, new things coming out. So Z-Man now has a rod, right? This is a Spro rod. So again, companies are jumping through hoops to do things that maybe aren't in their comfort zone because they see that they can do things differently, or a lot of companies think better. So if you guys are really true to a company or a brand, every year there's more and more stuff coming out. Let's look at these combos though.
Yeah, the best way for a company to expand is to expand horizontally as opposed to vertically. And the way they do that is if they're a lure manufacturer, they go into the rod category. If they're a rod manufacturer, they go into the lure category or the clothing category, or you name it.
This screams Larry Ladowski right here.
That's me all over
That
the
is you.
place, yes.
All the way down the rod shaft.
Actually, my kids would enjoy that.
Maybe. Hey, it's different, right? Fishing, the beautiful thing about fishing, and I've always believed this, especially as a high school fishing coach, is fishing is for everyone. It doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter where you're from. Anyone can fish. And what I love about this is I think it ties in a little more of the artsy side of fishing, a little bit more of the urban side of fishing, and the fun side. So this is super cool. And before we leave the combos, though, I definitely would be wrong if I didn't shout out the Mock Jack combos. Now, these are one of the more expensive combos on the market now. What Luz did is they've had their Mock series for quite a while now, and they revamped it, though. This is not your Orange Crush. This ain't your Mock series. This is Mock Jacked, and it is jacked up for sure.
Well, and the other thing you talked about, Jim, is that fishing is fun for everybody. And here's a company that has really gotten into the complete fishing packages. If you're a Ned rigger, they have complete Ned rigging systems. If you're
Crankbaiter.
a crankbaiter, they have crankbait series rods. But now they have a kids series that is complete with a tackle bag or a tackle box that you can catch anything you want. So it's bringing up the young kids and talking about and getting them involved in the fishing industry so that they can become the next Jim O'Neills.
Alright guys, we made it usually to where a lot of attention is given, and that is the reels, right? Why? Because, well, at the end of the day, I think a bad reel messes up your day more than anything. You need to get that fish in. You want it to be smooth, you want it to be light, especially if you're out on the water 10, 12, 14 hours a day like I sometimes am. But it's so cool because there's so many different types of reels. We have fly reels, we have salt reels, bait casters, and spinning. So we'll browse through some of these, including electric reels for saltwater that go down up to 1,000 feet and cost up to $10,000 for a reel.
And Jim mentioned that a lot of companies are getting into various parts of the industry. So if you're a rod manufacturer, now they're getting into the reel industry. St. Croix just got into the reel industry with the 7 reel. Let's just check it out. It's a saltwater reel.
What size is that, Larry?
So they've got salt.
This is a monster. This is a saltwater. I don't think I'd fish with this one.
Well, listen,
Unless I'm going to catch a lake trout.
besides saltwater, right? Besides saltwater, you definitely could use this as a carp reel. You could definitely use this as a catfish, a sturgeon, a paddlefish reel. Any of those, yes, larger size fish that we normally think salt, but in the Midwest, there are still plenty of species that you need to beef up.
Now,
But they do have the Abus and the Shimanos and the Luz of the world as well.
Huh?
Just about everything.
Just about everything.
You could see all the new lure, or all the new reels right here.
now, Jim, you did get a chance to get hands-on with a couple 7 reels earlier today.
I did. The first thing I'll say right away to debunk anything, okay? These days you see a lot of reels with 100 bearings in it, it seems like, right? Anywhere from like 8 to about 13 bearings. These are 4 plus 1, okay? So 5 bearings. Do not let that overthrow anything about it. It is not for a lack of anything. I truly believe that they found what was necessary and they put it in there, and more was unnecessary. I got to throw the bait casters and the spinning reels today down on the water. They are very smooth, they are very light, and they cast damn near across the whole pond.
Larry, something's caught your eye.
Actually, it's the new Luz Freshwater series rod. This thing is as smooth as, and the key about these, and any reel, as a matter of fact, they're getting lighter and lighter and lighter. They're getting a lot easier for me as an old guy to throw, which you young guys I know can get out there and just whip it out there. But I mean, I tell you, the lighter, the more time you're going to have on the water and the more fun you're going to have on the water, because it's not going to labor you to death. So,
Absolutely. You can see that, Larry? Yep. I said hand it to. Oh, you already did. It's so light, I didn't even notice. No, but seriously, guys, Luz reels are one of the reels I've been using for so many years, and I just can't believe truly how they've gone from larger size and heavier to smaller, sleeker look. more durable. You know, it's just really fascinating, not only just in the industry as a whole, right? But when you just look at one company and see how they only came back on the market less than 20 years ago, you know, and they're doing so much already.
Well, the nice thing a lot of these companies are doing is they're taking their high-end models and they're bringing all of the elements from their high-end models and moving them into the lower-end models, so it's making it more affordable for you as well as better fishing.
Very good. All right, so we got about one or two more things to see, and then we got to wrap it up, guys, because as a Midwest angler, I would be sad if I did not bring you guys to this house over here.
That's what you need to try to find something. I'm done.
Now, I say a house because I truly mean that. First, watch me not bow down to get in here. You guys see this space? I can't even extend my hands and touch the ceiling. All right? The LEDs wrapped all the way around. Air vents, windows, and pockets on every single side. Not to mention multiple doors in and out. I don't know about you guys, but I love ice fishing with all my buddies and family, and it really makes ice fishing not as brutal when you're sitting out in that ice that cold. So this is something you could put a grill in. This is something you could put cots up into, or you could fish 5 or 6 of your best friends in the same house.
And I tell you, Jim, I can ice fish in Orlando, I tell you.
Or ice fishing in Orlando is pretty sweet.
Hey, Aquaview even brought down an ice castle today.
Yes, they did. Don't ever forget about the ice fishermen, because we are strong and powerful. So guys, we're going to finish up here in the fly shop. There are, of course, some fly fishermen here. We do have a lot more of this show to show you, but it's just simply just about impossible to get all of it crammed up into one video. But as you guys can see at ICast, it is fascinating. There's so many products, there's so many people, and it's all for one cause, to continue to make the fishing world bigger and better. So if you guys look behind, anywhere from fly tying equipment, rods, combos, waders, they've got it all. The one thing I really wanted to talk about, because I found this really interesting, was these catch cam nets. They are completely designable by you guys on their website. So you can pick what kind of grip is on this, if it's tacked or smooth. You can pick what print is on it. You can pick what kind of netting is in your net and the color of your head. So it's a completely customizable net. And in today's world where we all like to show our unique and individualness, I think it's awesome.
Folks, as far as the show goes, there's so much more to see. It's just starting. We'll bring you a lot more to come on Midwest Outdoors. Just stay tuned to this guy, and we'll show you everything here at the show.
So for Larry Ladowski, I'm Jim O'Neill. Thanks for staying tuned, guys. And we're live, so I can't mess up like that. We'll see you guys later.